Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video actually came as a little bit of a request. Someone was like, can you do a video of all of your ear piercings, because I have got a fair few of them. So I'm just going to show you my sideburns here. There's going to be loads of nice up close frames of me, which is going to be great and really flattering, obviously. So I'm going to go through all the piercings that I've got and what they felt like, the pain, what they were like to heal, and obviously of course these are all like, this is all super subjective. What I find painful isn't necessarily going to be what other people find painful, but I just thought I would, you know, I will be really honest with it, kind of manage your expectations and things like that, especially if you're thinking about getting lots of piercings. So first off, all of my piercings, all of my jewelry is Maria Tash, so it is really expensive. There are like a lot cheaper places that you can go for it, but I just kind of caught the Maria Tash bug, and it is an addictive one. So basically that's what all my jewelry is. Not all of my piercings were done at Maria Tash, but not all my piercings were done at Maria Tash. Many were actually done elsewhere. I'll just go through my lobe piercings first, because I think so many of us have lobe piercings. Not really that interesting, so I will go through that. I've got 3 lobe piercings on my right ear, and I have 4 on my left ear. I had my first piercings done when I was 14, and then slowly I just built up. Most of them were done, I think, at Claire's Accessories. I know it's not the best place to go to, but like, you know, there's been times when I've been out and on a whim, I've just been like, I want a piercing, and then just like click, it's done. Really easy. So the theme of my earrings are actually really sort of like celestial. It's all about stars and things like that. So I have got some stars here. I've got a big star, little star, and then a diamond Trinity from Maria Tash. So let's work my way up and start talking about cartilage piercings. I went and got my front helix done, so let's come in. So my front helix is, or forward helix, is this one here. I originally had this done at Astrid and Miu, and this piercing, okay, on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most painful, this was a painful piercing. I would say, personally, I would rate it at an 8. So it wasn't very comfortable at all, maybe even a 9. And yeah, it was sore. And also with this, your hair gets caught in it quite a lot. When you go to hug people, because mine's on my right side, most people when you go to hug, you go that way. So your head bashes against them, especially if you've got a friend who's a real like clasper. You're like, ugh. So it's like, it's painful. That one was painful. I was not a big fan of it at all. And I did have quite a few problems with that. I found that it really got quite infected. It was quite nasty. It was infected. I think there's a difference between it being infected. It has to be like oozing loads of green gross stuff. So I might actually show some pictures of when I had some problems with my piercings, because I had quite a lot of problems. So if you get quite squeamish, look away. But yeah, so this piercing was quite difficult to heal. And then I was invited down to Maria Tash, where they were doing piercings and they were gifting us some pieces of jewelry. So I went down about, I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, and I spoke to their ear stylist, and they were like, we can replace that bar that I'd got from Astrid and Miu, and we will put in another piece, and then we'll also pierce your Tash rook, because we think that would look really nice. And we worked together. So I've changed my piercings up quite a few times. I've changed pieces of jewelry in them. So this is what I'm at now. So the Tash rook is where I currently have a moon. So this was my most painful piercing. It really hurt. It's quite a thick chunk of cartilage to go through, and also it was by far the worst piercing to heal. So it gets like, your hair gets really caught in it, and it is super painful. And I like, these two went on such a journey. It took absolutely months. So I had them done last September, so it's been 9 months. It's been 9 months, and they have only just like healed properly. Like, it went from going, like, they were fine at first, and then about a week passed, and then they started getting sore, and then they started getting gooey, and then they started going all like disgusting and crispy and crusty and sore, and like, it was so horrible. And the Maria Tash team were great. They kept having me back in to check up and be like, right, try this, try that, and all these things. And then in the end, because I originally had the big star, at the bottom, up where the moon is, and they said after a few months they were like it would probably be advisable to change it to a really small piercing, so it's like smaller, you can clean the area better, and it just allows it to heal better. So one thing I was really struggling with as well was sleeping. So I naturally like to sleep on this side. This is also technically my selfie side. This is like my better side. It's the side that I always put my hair behind my ear, so it's my earring side as well. So it's not the best combination when you want to sleep on your side. What changed my sleeping for me 1,000,000% was when the girls at Maria Tash said you need to sleep on a travel pillow, and I was like, what do you mean a travel pillow? And they were like, get a travel pillow like this is the one that I don't usually use, I lost my other one, and they were like, what you do, you sleep like that, you put it like that, and then that way you can sleep on the side that you want to, and your ear goes in here and it is completely protected. And also that stops you from doing what I did next. So if you obviously end up sleeping on, like, you might accidentally roll onto your side where you've had your quite fresh piercings or problematic piercings, and you might end up like knocking it and it might like start healing funny, or it might do what I did. So I was dating a guy and I stayed around his house, and I found his bed really uncomfortable. I was going through a bit of a stressful time, so I was finding it really difficult to sleep. Also, I'll be really honest, I didn't really like him that much, I don't think, so I just found it really stressful sleeping, and it took me ages to get to sleep. And eventually, I remember lying there for like hours and hours and being like, oh God, do I just go home, do I just go home? And eventually I managed to like nod off, and I felt myself going like that, and I was like, oh no, my piercings are gonna be like, like they're gonna go all funny, like, and I was having issues with my Tash rook at the time anyway. So I was there like, but I was so desperate to fall asleep. I was just like, just go, just let yourself fall asleep. So I did, and I woke up the next day, and oh my God, it was so painful. I was like, oh my God, my ear is so painful. And then I was just there like, oh, does it look really disgusting? And he was there like, yeah, I think the front of the piercing's fallen off. And I was like, what? And I was like, and I went and had a look, and I'll show you the picture. So this is what it looked like, and it is not pretty. So I was sending pictures to Ariana at Maria Tash, who's an absolute babe. I love her so much. So I was sending her pictures being like, oh, what's happened? And we were like, I think the front's come off, like, I don't know how this, you know, like, come in, we'll get it checked out, it really doesn't look great, like, it's fine, we'll go and have it sorted out. I ended up like rushing in and going to get it checked out, and then one of the piercers there, who's like amazing, she's so lovely, was like, yeah, she was like, it's embedded, it's like you've slept on it and it's pushed it in, and your skin has grown over it and it's embedded. So that was my earring embedded, and I was like, oh no. So she had to push it out, push it forward, clean, like, you know, clean it all up. And then she told me something which was an absolute game changer for healing my piercings and like aiding that healing, and it was about the aspirin. It was about crushed aspirin tablets. You crush it up, mix it with a little bit of water into a paste, put it on your ear, it kind of goes all like crusty, leave it overnight, wash it off the next day, and repeat it for a few days until things calm down. And every time your piercings flare up, that's what you need to do. Because I was doing everything. I was using salt spray and it wasn't working. I was using chamomile tea bags because they said that the saline might actually be a bit too strong for my skin. That wasn't working. It soothed it a bit, but it wasn't really helping too much. This was the game changer. So yeah, that honestly, travel pillow and aspirin, like, well, that's not aspirin. So travel pillow and aspirin are honestly my top tips for healing piercings. And after that, it all started going a lot better. It started healing so much better. So no, sorry, it's summer obviously now, and it's warm for once, and I have to have the windows open because it gets hot in my flat, and there's a giant fly flying around. I forgot how annoying this issue was. So if you hear buzzing, that is what it is. But anyway, right, on to my Daith, which is the circly one here. This one's really fun to play with. I know it's kind of gross, but yeah. So this piercing, there are rumors and people have said that this piercing is really useful for those who have got who get migraines, and that it can be really like useful. It's supposed to alleviate some form of pressure. I don't get migraines. I can't possibly say that I've had less headaches since having it. I don't know if that's a real thing, but either way, I mean, it looks pretty. But also something which might push you as well to get it done is that this is the least painful piercing I have had done. It was less painful than my lobes. Like, honestly, considering the Daith, that piece of flesh and cartilage, it feels quite like chunky. Actually quite, it felt quite spongy and squishy when it went through. It did bleed a little bit, and it bled more than any other piercing did. I think it's just how it is, but it actually hurt less. And also, this was the easiest one to heal as well. I did get a bump on it, which I think is also quite normal to get, but I found that because it sits like completely within your ear, it just goes completely untouched. Like, it's not being like messed around by germs, you're not getting your hair caught in it, you're not being like, it doesn't really get bashed when you hug people. It's kind of protected. So I found that it healed really, really well for me. This particular one, I did find it was quite irritating with the earphones that go inside your ear, like the squishy earbud ones. So I've found that I've only just been able to start wearing them, and that's because it is completely healed. It's taken probably about 9 months for it to completely heal. Before, it was fine, it didn't bother me, but when I found I'd try and put these earphones in, it would be a little bit sore, a little bit uncomfortable, and like it would push the piercing around, and it didn't feel too great. So yeah, that is all my cartilage piercings on this side. So I'm gonna go over and show you what I've got on this side. So this is my left side. This one, the Conch. So I've got 4 lobe piercings, all sort of like different designs of hoops and stuff, and then I've got the Conch piercing inside. The Conch piercing, I've been thinking about this one for a while, and this is one of my favorites because it's one that like is really, really eye-catching. It's one that when I see it on other people, instantly catches my eye because it just sits there really beautifully, like a diamond just suspended, and it's gorgeous. Pain-wise, this one was probably a 9. No, not 9. This one's probably a 7. People have told me, they're like, oh, it's not very painful piercing. I found it really quite painful, so yeah. And it was sore for the rest of the day. But in terms of healing, so I've had this done about 6 weeks ago now. 6-7 weeks ago now. It's been a babe. It's been absolutely fine. I'm not sure, once again, if it's because this is on the left side, and this side I am touching a lot more. I'm touching it, I'm touching it, I'm like putting my hair behind my ear. When you hug people, you go and you hit them this side, whereas I don't hug people that side. So it's never getting knocked, it's just doing its own thing. So I think it's just because, I'm not sure if it's just the placement of it or if it's just because it's on that side of my head. It has just healed really, really nicely so far. I mean, it is still very early days, but, and I do, sorry, fly. But yeah, I do find that it kind of like comes and goes a little bit sometimes. If I do knock it, it will be a little bit sore. I have found that if I have like picked at it a little bit, because I've been like, oh, it's a bit crispy, it has been a bit gross. But yeah, I've honestly found it as a really, really good healer. So that's everything about my piercings on my ears. They're the only piercings I have. I have 11. I hope that's been helpful. I will say that I'm somebody that, like, I personally find I struggle really, really a lot to heal my piercings. Even my lobe piercings usually they blow up and get sore and gooey and a little bit like, they kind of look a little bit infected, but they're not. But yeah, so maybe, I don't know, maybe my body's just finally getting used to them. But either way, that is my piercings and my stories about them. I hope you found some tips from it. I hope you found it a little bit useful, especially travel pillow. Get one if you haven't already. Best thing I've done. Aspirin, if you're struggling. Dispersible, get the dispersible ones. They mix with water a lot better because, you know, they're dispersible, and I find that it goes on and stays on your ear a lot better. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know it's a little bit of a weird niche video, and I will put a list of the piercings that I have got down below. And also, like, I'll probably link some places, because no, Maria Tash is expensive. I'll link to some places where you can get sort of like similar styles. Astrid and Miu is a really good one as an alternative, and they do also do piercings. So yeah, but anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye guys.